The wrong emoji can totally change your message, and at age where messaging is the most common form of communication, emojis have become part of a new language. But unlike words, emojis are open to misinterpretation. A smiley face can feel sarcastic, a heart may seem overly emotional, and a wrong emoji, even accidental, can completely shift how a message is received. Emojis aren't just icons, they're emotional signals, and the wrong signal triggers the wrong feeling. In digital communication, every emoji you choose becomes part of your tone, and when that tone is off, the message gets distorted. In today's digital era, emojis are emotional bridges replacing nonverbal cues in face-to-face communication. However, this emotional assumption is also the root of high misinterpretation risk. Unlike written language, which has structure and grammar, emojis live in an ambiguous emotional zone dependent on perception, culture, age, and relationship level. A message with emoji may signal agreement in Western contexts, but appear dismissive or curt in many Asian cultures. A may feel warm among friends, but awkward in workplace chats. Communication psychology refers to this as digital affective dissonance, the gap between the sender's intent and the receiver's emotional decoding in nonverbal contexts. The danger is this: senders often don't realize they've caused discomfort. They only notice the other person going silent, replying dryly, or slowly withdrawing, when in truth, it all began with a seemingly harmless emoji. This reveals that digital communication isn't easier, it requires more emotional precision and social responsibility. A well-placed emoji might brighten someone's day. The wrong one could make them feel ignored, misread, or unwelcome. An emoji holds no fixed meaning, it only makes sense when paired with context. The same emoji might delight someone who knows you're joking, but feel like mockery if the relationship isn't close. Differences in age, profession, and culture make emojis emotional wildcards. A young person may see as playful while an older individual might interpret it as sarcasm. Intercultural psychology refers to this as interpretive layering, when the same symbol is decoded differently depending on the cultural and emotional layer of the recipient. This highlights that modern communication can't rely on personal assumptions, it must include awareness of emotional sensitivity across groups. In multicultural workspaces, many conflicts begin from tiny misunderstandings often triggered by emojis. One emoji sent at the wrong time, to the wrong person, with the wrong tone can create a psychological domino effect, harming morale and team harmony. Therefore, skilled digital communicators aren't just cute with emojis, they're emotionally strategic. They understand the depth behind a click. In traditional communication, people express emotion through at least 4 layers: words, tone, facial expressions, and body language. In digital text communication, only words and emojis remain. This makes emojis the primary emotional medium, replacing nuances and nonverbal cues. But without vocal tone or visual context, emojis are highly susceptible to misinterpretation, filtered through the emotional state of the recipient rather than the intent of the sender. A Cambridge University study 2021 found that tired, anxious, or stressed recipients tend to interpret neutral emojis negatively. For instance, might be sent as neutral, but received as anger or indifference. This is known as the emotional mirroring effect, where we see our own mood reflected in others' messages, not their actual tone. So before sending an emoji you consider safe, ask, is the recipient in a different emotional state? Could they read this differently? This is the essence of smart communication, not just saying the right thing, but anticipating how it might feel to others. In professional settings, emojis can convey friendliness, but may also lead recipients to misjudge the sender's seriousness or intent. A casual attached to an internal email might make the reader feel mocked, especially if the original content was serious or corrective. According to an MIT study 2022, over 54% of professionals reported feeling awkward or less favorable toward colleagues after receiving an off-tone emoji in internal communication. Particularly with senior leaders or international partners, emojis can be perceived as unprofessional, overly casual, or culturally unaware. That's why many major organizations now provide guidelines on appropriate emoji usage per context. Emojis in professional messages aren't wrong but must align with the recipient, the content, and the communication frequency. In today's hybrid communication era, where most exchanges happen online, writing and emoji choices reflect professional emotional intelligence. Every tiny cue helps shape your personal brand and credibility. Emojis often carry multiple meanings across cultures, making cross-border digital communication vulnerable to emotional false equivalents. For example, is seen as gratitude or good wishes in many places, but as an apology in Japan. Is widely used to soften awkward moments, but may be read as evasive or insincere in parts of the Middle East. These differences aren't mistakes, they signal an unsynchronized emotional ecosystem. According to the Global Emoji Index 2021, over 33% of top-used emojis are interpreted differently in at least 4 major cultural regions. Thus, in international communication, emojis must be intentional and ideally paired with clarifying language if the message matters. Digital kindness isn't just feeling the right thing, it's knowing how it's felt by others. That's the art of global communication. While most people focus on choosing the right emoji, the art of not using emojis is equally crucial. Some moments require clarity, seriousness, and emotional neutrality. That's when emojis should be withheld. When apologizing, delivering hard feedback, or affirming boundaries, not using an emoji isn't called it's respectful. Not all messages need softening, some deserve to retain their full emotional tone to convey sincerity. According to Harvard Business Review, messages without emojis during tense exchanges made recipients perceive the sender as more focused and credible. Emotion isn't always in what we add, it's in what we withhold. This is emotional discernment in communication, knowing when to soften and when not to. Every emoji you choose, deliberate or not, is a silent emotional statement. It reveals how you view the relationship, whether you're paying attention, and the feeling you intend to leave behind. If you use emojis to avoid clarity, you might be dodging honesty. If you use them to please but end up causing confusion, you might be favoring speed over sincerity. Kind communication isn't about saying more, it's about choosing wisely. In the digital age, wise choice sometimes means realizing a small symbol can carry large consequences. So before sending that emoji, ask, is this the right person, right time, right feeling? If unsure, use words. Emojis may seem small, but they touch one of the biggest human needs: the desire to be understood. In digital communication, where every character can carry emotion, emojis are not decorations, they're part of the voice you leave in someone's memory. So choose them as you would choose your gaze, with care, honesty, and awareness of their impact. If this message made you rethink how you communicate, share it. Like, share, subscribe to spread the belief. Kind communication starts with a small symbol and a big heart.